violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Frederick Douglass, where a shooting just took place. And as you can see, it's a pretty rough area. So I'm basically risking my life reporting on this madness. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Like the video, hell, share the video. And make sure you go ahead and leave a comment down in the comments section to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. I'm Jailen Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jailen. What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jailen Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jailen Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo.
Whoa. Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live.
That ain't
with
me.
Funky ass
Yeah,
that's that nigga.
That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jailen Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, we have to talk about this one. Man, I mean, it's back to back to back. The community is on fire, and that fire is spreading, leaking out into other communities. We did the story on the woman who was killed walking her dog in the trail from Auburn University yesterday. The day before that, we actually covered a story. What was that story that we did? Oh, yeah, we covered the Ukrainian refugee, Irina Zarutska, who was killed by DeCarlos Brown on the Charlotte Light Rail, which is a train. And we've been doing a lot of different interracial murder stories. We did the trans graffiti artist, Sasha Shakur, who, deleted a white man in cold blood after being confronted about graffiti. So we've got a huge issue going on in the community. that is stoking the racial flames, and it's not good. And it is creating a bubbling environment for a pending backlash that the community is not ready for, quite frankly. So today we have to cover the story of Eric Tarpinian Jachym. He was killed by three black teenagers. And, you know, this story is pretty crazy because he's a DC intern, and we had Trump do the DC takeover. And there were people who were, you know, thanking Trump and all that kind of stuff. We can talk about that as well. But then you also have backlash. And then you got the YNs from Chicago threatening, threatening President Trump about going into Chicago. So we've got a lot going on here when it comes to the crime issue in the black community. And we're going to talk about it today because these spaces for open conversation are rarely had. And, you know, we all over here, we got thick skin. We all want to come together to stop this problem, find a solution to this problem. And you have, you know, an incredible amount of violence going on. And this story is coming back into the forefront because some of the teens have been caught. So we're going to talk about this killing in DC. It actually happened 2 months ago, but we do have some of the teen's identity being revealed and all this kind of stuff. So it kind of gives us context for a story that didn't really get as much headway as, you know, most people would have wanted.
All right, let's get to some developing details about a deadly shooting that happened earlier this week in the district.
A congressional intern was killed in that shooting and 2 others were hurt. Fox 5's Melanie Olick is live for us this morning in Northwest with the latest on this investigation. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. So we're here right out in front of one of the exits to the Mount Vernon Square metro station. And I want to show you where the bullets struck on Monday night. Take a look at this bus shelter. We're counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 bullet holes right here. They pierced all the way through this bus shelter. I can tell you also that the victims were found in 3 different locations. We do know that 21-year-old Eric Tarpinian Jachym from Granby, Massachusetts, DC police say was not the intended target in Monday night's shooting. They are
Wow. So it looks like a random shootout. And I think this was shortly before the DC takeover. This was one of the things that helped spark Trump's decision to go into DC, send the National Guard, send the feds in to take over and deputize the federal government in order to do the job of local policing in DC. So this was one of the cases that kind of sparked that. Now, we talked about the Big Balls case as well, but I think this one is the one that has the most impact and is what you can really show to say, hey, man, you have an innocent person on the streets. DC intern works in the Capitol, and he's hit by a stray bullet. It wasn't even targeted, but he got caught in the middle of a crossfire between, most likely, you know, whether it's a carjacking, rival gang shooting, whatever. But he wasn't necessarily the intended target, and he was still hit. So it kind of shows exactly what's going on in DC. And then we have people protesting these actions. So we're going to show both sides and really determine ourselves who's wrong, who's right, what's the right way to do this, what's the wrong way to do this, has it been conducted in the right way. And honestly, the results are speaking for themselves.
Actively working DC police to track down the suspects. Friends say Eric loved his time with his DC Capitol Hill internship. This photo taken in March in the White House garden. The 21-year-old UMass Amherst senior was on 7th Street Monday night around 10:30 p.m. That's when DC police say a car pulled up near the metro station. The suspects jumped out and started firing at a group nearby, striking Eric and 2 others. Now, we don't know much about the other victims. We know one is a woman, one is a 16-year-old boy. They both survived, taken to the hospital. But Eric, also taken to the hospital, died a short time later. His death making headlines nationwide. Now, prior to interning in Congress, Eric, a finance major with a minor in political science, was a fellow at the Fund for American Studies. Colleagues said he was the best of them.
Eric was a good, smart Republican. Quite frankly, somebody in Congress should introduce a bill called the Eric Jachym Act that works on increasing police support in DC, and Congress can do that.
Kansas Representative Don Estes said he and his staff are sending prayers to Eric's family, adding that he's going to remember his kind heart and how he always greeted anyone who entered the office with a cheerful smile. We're grateful to Eric for his service to Kansas 4th District and the country. Now, one thing we did learn from D.C. police is they say that they do have possession of the shooter's vehicle. So certainly this is a very active investigation. There's a $25,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and indictment in this case. Anyone who saw anything, heard anything, has any kind of surveillance video, you can text your tips to DC Police at 50411.
So there you have it. There you have it. You know, very sad story here. And on the other hand, we have the Communita, or organized factions of the Democratic Party that are representing the Communita, protesting Trump's takeover of DC. Let's watch.
Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! Free DC! Protect home rule! 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 Protect home rule!
This morning because Trump is trying to take over DC. He's having a press conference and he wants to assert more of his authority over DC, and we are here to say he can't have it. Stay with me. He can't have it. He can't have it. Trump can't have it. Trump can't have it. DC is our home. DC is our home. We are just some of the hundreds of thousands of people who live here in DC. Our communities are.
Okay, I'm sorry, but this is kind of cringe. And you know, a lot of the sisters out here were saying we done protesting for black men because they voted for Trump and da 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 da. But yet, here still, y'all are still out here because it was never about protecting black men or protecting the black community. It's about making a name for yourself as an individual. That's what a lot of this is about. It's about making a name for yourself, just like the BLM movement was about enriching themselves. So we're not really representing a real cause here, and that's why nothing ever ends up getting done. I do like the fact that at least Trump is doing something to stop it. And there have been people who said, yeah, man, we needed something. We needed an intervention. The police officer saying, yeah, we needed help with this. And these people are protesting safety in the streets. These people are protesting a decreasing murder rate, a decreasing crime rate. You know, it's just very odd that they would be protesting it, but it's more about just being against Trump. And that's what you have to realize. And there's a lot of news on this story of this young man who was killed, and we're going to learn more about him throughout this stream. And And then we're going to be introduced to the 3 teens who actually are being charged with murdering this DC intern.
Presidents and lawmakers are speaking out on the triple shooting in Washington, D.C. that killed a man from Granby. 22 News reporter Sarah Biename shares their reactions.
Granby is a small town in the central west part of Hampshire County.
It's a good access to everything around. I can get south of Springfield and everywhere else and north, and have these over there.
Residents call it a tight-knit community.
Is what everybody wants it to be. It's a family kind of place. It's small. Everybody knows everybody. I know half the people. I've raised my kids here. It's a beautiful place to live.
But hearing about the death of 21-year-old Eric Tarpinian Jachym from Granby was shocking.
I can't even imagine right now.
On Monday, police say Eric was caught in a crossfire in Washington, D.C. They say 2 men shot toward a crowd of people and someone returned fire. A woman and a 16-year-old boy were also hit. At that time, Eric was interning on Capitol Hill while working in the office of Republican Representative Ron Estes from Kansas. He was a rising senior at UMass Amherst studying finance and political science after attending Pope Francis Preparatory School in Springfield. Police say he was not the intended target. Eric's story hits home for a lot of Granby residents who've been living here for a very long time.
And honestly, it almost makes it worse that the young man was not the intended target, because it's now a random act of violence that crossed the path of an unsuspecting victim. And that makes it worse because that means it can happen to anybody. These super gremlins are on demon time.
I don't know. It's very hard. I've lost children. I know what it's like.
And as a father, Congressman Rich O'Neal said in a statement, any parent will tell you there is no greater pain than the pain of losing a child. As a father, my thoughts and prayers are with Eric's family and loved ones during this difficult time. And Representative Estes hopes Eric is remembered for who he was as a person. In a statement, he said, I would remember his kind heart and how he always greeted anyone who entered our office with a cheerful smile. Working for you, Sarah Biename, 22 News.
Wow. And that right there is shocking. That right there is shocking. And then we're going to have to talk about the response on the left. Okay? And you guys know, I don't really like to do the left, the right, the this, the that. But the justification for the violent crime is pretty much where I'm drawing the line. And you also have on university campus, the liberals of the campuses are gathering and protesting the DC takeover. So what are we going to do to solve the problem? It just seems like when there is something being done to solve the issue, you have people upset about it, even if that method is working.
Our school! Whose streets? Our streets! Whose school? Our school!
Repression of the university and of the government and of this whole cop city has failed to destroy student activism for Palestine. They do not want us to know that we are alive because that proves that this.
All right, they over here talking about Palestine. I'm gonna have to get up. I'm gonna have to get up out of here. I just got monetized. I don't want no problems. Shout out to Alexander Hill with the $10 super sticker.
Oh, say like
appreciate that. 7-7, man. He says, what's good, people? Lord Mingo says, another one bites the dust. Sunmen are on a mission, boy. Salute BGZM from Angry Snowman. Wag the dog. Bruh, been on a warpath lately. Beast Life over 50. I almost missed the stream, but gladly you are here, my friend. Alexander Hill sponsored all of those chats being read. And I actually like that. What we'll do is, from now on, is if you super chat, so instead of just reading this super chat, I'll read all the chats before the last super chat. So say 6 people chat and then somebody sends a super chat. I'll read the super chat first and then I'll read everything behind that. And that one super chat will sponsor everybody else's chats. Do y'all like that? I want to spread the love here. I know everybody can't donate, even though I need every cent. I need every dollar. But at the end of the day, I know everybody can't donate. And I want everybody's voice to be heard. Just keep it respectful. You can make jokes. You can be a little raunchy. Just keep it respectful with the host. Okay. Just keep it respectful with the host and, try and keep it YouTube friendly. And I will read your comments, any comment in between each super chat, including that said super chat to sponsor the previous comment. So that's how we're going to roll it from here on out. I appreciate that contribution from Alexander Hill. But we have a show to finish up here. And we do have a police conference. So we'll talk about that. But now it's time to meet the individuals who, committed this heinous crime. Okay. And then we're actually going to, oh yeah, we got the parents. Wow. We got a whole bunch of content. We got the parents' response. We got, Judge Pirro weighing in here as she has taken that role for the judge of the DC area. So we've got an action-packed show for you guys here. Let's start it off with a little more backstory and who these perpetrators really are. Now, look how just dumb these guys look, man. They just look, dude looks geeked out of his mind or just mentally just idiotic, retarded. He just looks mentally retarded. This dude kind of seems like he actually has some semblance of thought in his mind, but this dude just looks completely out of there. He almost looks like he's a 35-year-old man with those brow wrinkles. Like, what is going on in the community, man? What is going on where we have these YNs crashing out, shooting randomly in the air, shooting randomly, all over the place, all over the city, getting involved in op culture, getting involved in crash out culture. It has completely derailed all of the public relations that the Black community has been trying to build for the last 50 years. And we definitely have to get our ish together. That's it. We got to get our ish together, man. So let's keep going with the video. Shout out to Beast Life over 50 with the $5 super trap. He says YouTube doesn't like my messages.
Oh, say less.
Yeah, YouTube can be like that. So Judge Pirro with the strong words saying she wants them charged as adults in her system because this is exactly how she, this is exactly how she is going to discipline them. And, I support it. I definitely think that these dudes should be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law. Um, it's just wild. It's just wild that we have this level of violence going on every single day, and it has to stop. 4 of them rounds. Sheesh. I think she was the police chief or something like that, or who pretty much lost her position in commanding the DC police, at least temporarily, as Trump has swept in with the feds to try and maintain some semblance of order.
Time. In Northwest DC, I'm Liana Golden, 7 News.
Man. So very emotionally charging story here, as are all interracial crimes. Okay.
The last hour, DC police announced they are searching for a third person in the shooting death of a congressional intern. Eric Tarpinian Jachym was shot and killed near the convention center back in late June. Now police tell us they're trying to find this man right here. He's 18-year-old Naquon Lucas. He faces first-degree murder.
So Naquon Lucas is the only one, the only one who hasn't been caught yet. The other 2 have been arrested and charged, but this ninja here has not been caught.
Charges tonight. Now, 2 17-year-olds were arrested in D.C. this morning, and they're being charged as adults. Our Matthew Torres says the case is sparking a stronger push to prosecute more violent juvenile cases from U.S. Attorney for D.C., Janine Pirro.
Tonight, a break in a shooting that killed 21-year-old Eric Tarpinian Jachym. D.C. U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro announced authorities have arrested 2 17-year-old boys. Jailen Lucas.
Oh, yeah. So that is actually, this is the woman who didn't know what chain of command meant. And then this is the woman who stepped in and said, yeah, so as far as chain of command goes, we will report to the president and his authority because he's taken over DC police, which he did have the authority to do. So it looks like things are being done the right way. Are the methods working? We're going to have to wait and get the data on that. I know they had, I think, 2 weeks with no murder, something like that. So now we're just going to have to see how justice plays out. But I personally hope that they start giving way more severe consequences for these YNs, man. We cannot have a society where ninjas just think it's okay to shoot willy-nilly into the streets, into buildings, out of vehicles, all this kind of stuff. And, whoever is participating in these actions should be held accountable. And, we need to start bringing in stiffer punishments, stiffer sentencing for these very violent offenders.
17-year-old boys, Jailen Lucas of Northwest and Kelvin Thomas Jr. of Southeast. Both teens are charged as adults with first-degree murder while armed. They're still searching for a third teen suspect, now identified as 18-year-old Naquon Lucas.
It's bad enough to be gunned down on any street, but to be gunned down in our nation's capital is an outrage.
Tarpinian Jachym was a senior.
And that's a real fair point. I mean, it doesn't make sense why DC shouldn't be the safest place in the entire country. Right? This is where the laws are made. This is where the laws are written. This is where the laws are passed. This is where the law should be enforced.
Senior at the University of Massachusetts Amherst, interning for Republican Congressman Ron Estes on Capitol Hill. Pirro says he was shot 4 times when he was caught in the crossfire of a drive-by shootout at 7th and M near the Mount Vernon Square Metro in late June. Police reported the shooting was part of an ongoing dispute between rival groups.
Innocent bystander.
So this is gang activity. He was caught in the crossfire of a gang shooting. That's what that means. That's what that means. He was caught in the crossfire of a gang shooting. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Who was caught in a violent act that was not meant for him.
Pirro is using this case to argue why Congress needs to change the law so the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. can prosecute more juvenile cases. She says the suspects have a violent record in family cases since the Trump administration's federal surge. A U.S. magistrate judge in D.C. blasted prosecutors this week by saying their office has lost credibility.
Do you have full confidence in the attorney's office to prosecute these types of cases, especially knowing that there was that back and forth with the U.S.
What I
magistrate
will say
judge?
is that the U.S. Attorney's Office and the Metropolitan Police Department, we have always worked very well together.
I have full, and I mean full confidence in the U.S. Attorney's Office and in the process.
Should they be taking a different approach?
No.
Pirro responded to the judge's remarks by saying he sympathizes with criminals and is too political. The chief says she spoke to the victim's family this morning about the charges. They tell me they are still processing this news. In Northwest, I'm Matthew Torres, WUSA 9.
Today, local students.
So we're going to hear from the police, and we're going to hear from the family. But let's see. We got a couple. Oh, this is just a news. Oh, that's police footage right there. So let's get a little bit more background about the young man, and then we'll get something from his family. Then we'll get it from the police.
Major breakthrough in a shooting that left a congressional intern dead earlier this summer. Authorities have arrested 2 teens in the triple shooting outside the Mount Vernon Square metro station. Another woman and a 16-year-old were also shot, but they survived. News 4's Amy Cho joins us live tonight with an update on the arrests. Amy?
Yeah, Erica, for more than 2 months, the family of Eric Tarpinian Jachym has been searching for answers. He was here in Washington interning for Kansas Congressman Ron Estes when he was shot and killed. Today, D.C. police say they've arrested 2 teenagers and are still searching for one more suspect. Investigators believe Eric was caught in the middle of an ongoing neighborhood crew dispute that had nothing to do with him.
Like so many other college students, Eric Tarpinian Jachym had come to Washington with big dreams of pursuing a career in politics. He was walking near the Mount Vernon Square metro on the night of June 30th, when police say he was shot in a hail of gunfire meant for someone else. Now, more than 2 months later, D.C. police say they've arrested 2 suspects, 17-year-old Jailen Lucas and 17-year-old Kelvin Thomas Jr., both now charged as adults with first-degree murder.
I hope today's arrest sends a message to individuals who choose to commit violence in our city. If you harm innocent victims in our community, we will hold you accountable.
The arrest comes amid the federal crackdown on crime in the district. Police Chief Pamela Smith joining Mayor Muriel Bowser and U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro to make the announcement.
My condolences certainly go out to the family, and I want to thank Judge Pirro for her attention to this, not just through this arrest, but all the way through the prosecution.
And it's bad enough to be gunned down on any street, but to be gunned down in our nation's capital is an outrage.
Eric's mom previously spoke with News 4, telling us her son was an avid outdoorsman who loved living in D.C.
He was a sweet, humble, honest child, boy, very resilient, and had a lot of obstacles in his life, and he found inner strength from God, and now I'm following in his footsteps.
According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, both 17-year-olds charged in Eric's murder have been charged with violent crimes before. But because those cases were tried in juvenile court, the records are sealed, and News 4 was unable to obtain them. Currently under D.C. law, juveniles have to be age 15 or up to be charged as adults. Pirro says she wants that age lowered to 12.
It is this case. D.C. Council has coddled young criminals for years. They reject mandatory minimums that the law requires. They don't force judges to follow the law.
Between 2018 and 2022, The DC Council passed a number of bills aimed at rehabilitation and second chances. Then in 2024, the DC Council passed a bill aimed at cracking down on crime called Secure DC, which increased penalties for gun crimes and expanded pretrial detention.
Now, I reached out to all of the D.C. council members to ask them about Jeanine Pirro's comments accusing them of, quote, coddling juvenile offenders. All of the D.C. council members either declined to comment or did not reply. Now, we did hear this afternoon from Kansas Congressman Ron Estes. He put out a statement on those arrests that were made in the killing of his intern, Eric. That statement reading in part, although nothing can reverse this horrific act of violence that took the life of a kind and bright young man, my hope is that today's announcement will bring peace and closure to the family and friends of Eric and all who knew and loved him. We are live here outside DC Police Headquarters. Amy Cho, News 4.
Amy, thank you.
Damn. So obviously this has spun up a lot of emotion. In DC. And we are going to, let's see, we're going to tap in with the parents who went on Fox News. So yeah, let's see what they're talking about here.
Of you to come on. If you would stand by for us for a second, I want to bring in Eric's parents, Tamara and Robert. They are with us now because, Judge, they have a message. They wanted to say something to you. Tamara, Robert, thank you for coming on the show. What is it that you would like to say to Judge Pirro?
I would like to thank you, Judge, for doing your job in DC. And I always respected you even before you had this position. I also want to thank all the detectives and everybody who has worked tirelessly on this case. It was a shock. We heard for the first time from your news conference what exactly happened with Eric and what kind of guns. We are very, very thankful and hopefully that this will continue of finding all these for all these homicide victims, that they will get their due justice too for their families, because it's not fun to be in this club. And my heart goes out to all the other families who have lost children to senseless homicide. And thank you so much. And I want to thank Gabriel Truby from the Metro Detective. I want to thank him. And I want to thank Megan Riley, the victim advocate, who has listened to me yell and scream and cry over the last couple months. They did their jobs. Bob, do you want to say something?
Judge Pirro, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if I ever meet you, I want to give you a big hug, right, Eric? Thank you again.
Thank you.
Damn.
Thank you.
Yeah, the family, they're worked up. I can only imagine losing a child in such a public manner, for the world to see that being politicized. And in some ways it's a good thing it's being politicized, because it got action to be taken from the feds. And in some ways the politicization could, it obviously it could affect the family directly as far as public perception and just a painful story being replayed. But there's awareness going on, and that's a very important aspect of this.
And thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it. And let's make all of America's cities safer.
Yeah.
If we don't have safety, we don't, what is worth our material things, our families? It's not worth it if people are not safe in America, the greatest country in the world. And please, this isn't political. It's a safety issue for everybody, for every person across America, no matter where you live or where you visit. So let's all come together.
Thank you.
Judge, it is a resounding endorsement, but by people who clearly are heartbroken that, that things are moving possibly in the right direction. Judge Pirro, thank you as always. Nice work. We shall see you soon. Thank you. We'd like to
And
continue.
I
Go ahead,
will
Judge.
talk to you, Tamara and Robert. My heart goes out to you. The fight's not over yet. We've got a prosecution and we've got a long time of connecting going forward to get you justice. And we will get you justice.
Thank you.
Oh, can I just say one word, please? Can I
Yes,
say, yesterday, Judge Janine, you were wearing an orange dress on TV. And I showed it to Bob. I go, look at Judge is wearing an orange dress. And what did you say, Bob?
Something good's going to happen. That was Eric's favorite color.
That's what he said. Something good's going to happen. It's Eric's favorite color because he was born 10/28. And that was his favorite color, orange. And it's ironic that he was murdered at 10/28. So that number two, that orange, Eric is looking down. That was a sign. Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Out.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Judge, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. and Mrs. Tarpinian Jachym, thank you. Very quickly before I go, I just want to know, Tamara, what you think about the arrest of the two suspects, the 17-year-olds.
I'm happy. It should have never came to this. If what we hear is true, that they have a history in the with crime.
Yeah.
This should have never happened, and it happens all over America, and it needs to stop. And we all need to do our due diligence that justice is served. And if we can't be coddling criminals, and it starts off as small little things, I would think, and just progresses, and it's not okay. Things have changed since I was born in the 60s and my husband in the 50s. Things have really changed to willy-nilly and, this and that. We respected our parents, we respected law enforcement, we respected our teachers, and now I feel respect has gone out the door as we see every day in our environments.
Bob?
And respect for life has gone. Nobody, we have to have respect for life.
Bob, would you like to add something?
No, I just want to thank you for letting us speak out.
Thank you for having us. And I hope people hear this, no matter what side of the fence you're on. And please take it literally that this could happen to anyone, and we need to be safe.
And we'd like to thank you because it's an important message. We know this is heartrending, heartbreaking for you. Thank you for sharing your story and being on with the judge. Best of luck in finding the third suspect, and best of luck to you and your family. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
You as well.
Hey, Sean. Damn. So, I mean, if you're not moved by that, I don't know what will move you. But we do have to talk about, let's see, what angle should we go here? Yeah, so we'll listen to the whole press conference and then we'll get up out of here because we have, well, not the whole thing, but we'll listen to Judge Janine talk because we've got a premiere at 9 p.m. of a pretty rough story. We are going to premiere a story about a serial killer, Rockham Prowell, who was charged with 2 murders of men that he lured from a dating app. And he was actually wearing a white mask, aka a Michael Myers mask, when he was connected to not necessarily the murders, but the robberies that he did before the murders. It's a whole crazy story. So that premieres at 9. So I want to get you guys out of here before then. But let's listen to the full Judge Pirro speech.
Phil, we got room over here. Phil, come over here. We have U.S. Marshals from Guam here. Just say hello. We're happy to have them here. And first of all, thank you all for being here. You have behind me a group of people who I think recognize today as the kind of day that reminds us why we do what we do. So welcome to the United States Attorney's Office. I'm United States Attorney Janine Pirro. Every day in America, we lose innocent victims to violent criminals who seek to impose their violence on others. There is no timing, there is no warning. It's like a thunderbolt out of the sky. And suddenly, they are gone from us. And their families and why. This is not only illegal, it is immoral, it is unacceptable, and we're not going to tolerate it. And that's why we're here today. Today, I stand here to address specifically the tragic event that has shaken DC, the senseless, fatal shooting of a 21-year-old intern by the name of Eric Tarpinian Jachym, who was fatally shot in Northwest DC far too soon on June 30th of 2025. He was shot and killed at 10:28 at night. He was hit 4 times. The scene involved 2 rifles, 1 9mm, and 79 rounds on the ground. Eric was a rising senior at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. He was in the nation's capital, as many young people are, pursuing his passion for public service. He was interning for Representative Ron Estes, and he was an innocent bystander who was caught in a violent act that was not meant for him. He leaves behind his mother, Tamara, his father, Rob, his sister, Angela, and his brother, Jeremy. And his death is a stark reminder of how fragile life is and how violent capital. And this is why the president has vowed to make DC safe and beautiful. This is why the nation's president, the president, is bringing together federal and local agencies to bring the force of the government against those who seek to destroy not only our quality of life, but our lives. And here to announce my thanks today to the Metropolitan Police Department. There are some real stars behind me who too often do not get the credit that they deserve. Right now, 2 individuals have been arrested, and this is a critical step toward justice. But our work is not done as we continue to seek a 3rd suspect in this case. Charges have been filed against 2 individuals, a 17-year-old juvenile by the name of Jailen Lucas. He is a juvenile, now charged in adult court. Another 17 years old, Kelvin Thomas Jr., another juvenile being charged in adult court, both of them charged with murder while armed under the DC Code 22-2101, which is murder in the 1st degree. Now, these juveniles have prior violent juvenile records in the family court. This is why, from day one, when I came here, I knew that we were missing a whole segment of criminals in DC, in our nation's capital, because the DC Council thinks that these kids need to be protected. They don't need to be protected. They need to be made accountable, and we need to be protected.
You could tell this woman back here do not agree. She's like, I don't agree. I think they should, you know, they've been going too soft on these dudes, and this is exactly why they're emboldened to commit crimes like this and shoot in the streets in broad daylight or whatever time. It doesn't matter what time. They will have a gang shootout in the middle of a playground. It really doesn't matter.
I am advocating and have advocated for jurisdiction over juveniles 14, 15, 16, and 17. They need to be brought into the criminal court so that we can prosecute them. Because if we do, we can prevent the murder that happened here based upon the histories of these 2 and the 3rd individual that I cannot talk about. Eric didn't deserve to be gunned down, and the system failed him. The system that felt that juveniles needed to be coddled. And it's bad enough to be gunned down on any street. but to be gunned down in our nation's capital is an outrage. This killing underscores why we need the authority to prosecute these younger kids, because they're not kids, they're criminals. They're violent criminals. We have to hold them accountable. We have to prevent them from robbing the innocents of their lives. Now I'd like to call upon the police chief, Pamela Smith.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Judge Pirro. I'm pleased.
All right, so that's part of Judge Piro's speech.
It's not just through this arrest, but all the way through the prosecution.
I didn't mention that the United States Marshal Gadi Saralta is here. Gadi, you want to say anything?
Just the only thing I can say is that the focus of the task force going forward is to catch and arrest and bring to justice the third individual that we're looking for.
Thank you. Okay.
Questions?
If you use a rifle in a crime, we prosecute you. No. You see, the problem with that was not recognizing that you use a rifle or a shotgun in a crime, you are going to be prosecuted. There is no there is no problem going forward with those prosecutions. I'm sorry?
I don't know exactly what he asked, but something about a rifle.
Well, the thrust of your question is really not a part of this case. We've got shotguns, actually rifles, and a 9mm. Okay, and we had a shootout. And by the way, there isn't just this one homicide victim. There are 3 other victims. They did not die, and a 4th victim who suffered shattered glass, I believe, on her face.
Dang. So, I mean, that's a mass shooting right there. 1 killed, 3 other hit. That's 4 more shot in one setting. That's a mass shooting.
So there are other victims as well in this case. Yes.
More of these juvenile cases. Is that something that you require Congress? Is it equivalent? Do you have the cities or the mayor's support for that? Is my first question.
Okay. To answer the first, and I'll let the mayor answer the second. Number 1, the DC Council has coddled young criminals for years. They reject mandatory minimums that the law requires. They don't force judges to follow the law. They have something called the youth rehabilitation and the incarceration reduction, as well as record sealing. Everything we do, the DC Council is looking to change to benefit.
And these two have been proponents of these policies. These two right here, this woman suited and booted on over the left shoulder of Janine Pirro, and then this woman right here with the curly hair, this sister right here. That's why they looking all blank face, because they don't agree with Janine, because they're radical leftists who believe in defund the police and decriminalize criminals and second chance, third chance, fourth chance. They don't believe in 3 strikes, you're out. So, you know, they don't believe in prosecuting violent criminals. And that's why they're all blank faced, and they're not really happy about having to take orders from a woman who believes in holding these super gremlins accountable.
The criminal. To specifically answer your question, we're going to need Congress to change the law. And I believe that if there's any case that calls for it, it is this case. Go ahead.
Well, I'm not going to comment on any pending legislation, but I will say this. The reason why we're here talking about 17-year-olds being charged as adults is because the U.S. attorney has that authority for 17-year-olds. And I think I would agree with the judge that cold-blooded murder qualifies as a crime that should have a 17-year-old considered as an adult.
And Judge Pirro, just to follow up on the ongoing, I guess, war of words we might describe it between you and Judge Pirro. I'm just wondering, one of the things, he had very sharp words yesterday saying that the office essentially had lost some credibility. In his view, what do you say to the grand juries which are returning no true bills, and is there a change that needs to come from your end of things?
Absolutely not. Judge Faruqi has never really met someone with an illegal gun that he hasn't felt some compassion for. Okay. And I'm not going into grand juries and telling him what to do and what not to do. That is their prerogative. We are advisors to grand juries. We tell them what the law is. We present cases that are clearly based on the evidence. Okay. And you and I can go through every case, and I can show you how every element of the crime has been met. And then it's up to the grand jury to make a decision. But as far as I'm concerned, My job as a prosecutor is to bring criminals into court and to try to prove my case beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm not into going back and forth with judges. I was a judge, okay? That's not what I did as a judge. So we need to leave politics out of it. I'll do my job. He should do his job as a judge and leave his politics out of it. Yes. This case will be presented to the grand jury, and there will be more charges that were added. The other individual, I'm not going to get into identifying his age. I don't want to specify who he is. He's a teenager.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and conclude the stream here. We have the premiere already about to begin. Let me see. I think it's already begun. Yep. So we got a premiere at 9 p.m. So the premiere has just started. So we'll go ahead and conclude the stream. Y'all make sure y'all go and check the premiere out. We got a very good show for you guys at 9 p.m. So support the channel, like the video, share the video, hit the PayPal, hit the Cash App, hit the Super Trap. But we are going to go ahead and conclude the stream. I appreciate you guys for joining. But you already know this is a Black Gen Z Mindset, aka BGZM News 17, aka Jinquavious Jackson, and we are going to send it off to Jinquavious Jackson to take us away. I appreciate everybody for joining the stream. Make sure you like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on another platform besides YouTube, go to the YouTube Black Gen Z Mindset and subscribe to the channel for more hard-hitting stories like this, where we hold all criminals accountable. And we look into the inner workings of the community and the mentality and the Black Gen Z mindset. So appreciate everybody for joining the stream. Comment immediately after the stream. It helps with algorithm. Go ahead and like the video. And you already know, be safe, because these super gremlins are on demon time.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/BlackGenZMindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jinquavious Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo! Ain't that nigga Jay?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit on.
That's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jinquavious Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jinquavious Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.